Okay, so recording has been started now, and I hope the screen is visible to everyone. So coming to the recap again. Okay, so as we discussed earlier, so we will today see about the two-tier architecture with the diagram and how we can build that. Okay, so where we will create as a web server with the RDS database service. Then we will make sure like database should be in the private and secure manner, and database backup should be there. And the web application which we are going to configure the DNS entry and like that, so that should be HTTPS or encrypted format. And then connectivity between app and database should be private, okay, not the public one, because we don't want to expose our database to the public network for the security manner, security reason. And credentials for the database should be stored in the vault or like a secret manager service which is in the AWS itself. Okay, we will not use any third party tool like one password, LastPass. I hope everyone is aware about those, the password manager, okay, which mostly company use. One password, or this is the password manager, or LastPass, this one. Okay, so there are multiple password managers, but these are the major one which companies sometimes use as a secure manner to store. Let's say I have multiple team members, and I created the database service and all the stuffs in the infrastructure, and I want to share the credentials. So I cannot directly share the passwords to the plain text format like chat or something. Okay, that's not a good practice in the real time. So you can use password manager there, whatever the company are using, like one password or LastPass. So you can just add in that word, that credentials, and then you will get the options basically there. Share password. So you need to mention the email address to whom you are going to share the password. So there, then that person will automatically get the retrieve password link. So he can just get the password. So sharing the password in the plain text format, it's not a good practice. Okay, it might be a security compliance issue. So tech stack, as I said, we will cover this about this to build this project. EC2, RDS, MySQL. Okay, SSL certificate within AWS services. Load balancer we will configure on the top of that. Then VPC, Route 53 service for the DNS mapping. Okay, and secret manager service we will to store the database credentials here. Okay, and to set up the monitoring for these metrics for the EC2 MySQL database, we will use CloudWatch as a monitoring tool here. Okay, so going forward for the different project, we will use Nagios as a monitoring system, Grafana as a monitoring system. Okay, which I already prepared and ready to use, but I will guide you later when we start those projects. Okay, then now we will see the architecture diagram, so you will get the better understanding here. Okay, so you can use this draw.io app website. It's very simple to use and draw the architecture diagram. So there are multiple more websites you can follow, but this is a good thing, like simple to use and configure the architecture diagram. So here you can see this URL we can configure HTTPS for the secure, then app.awsguruji.net. This is basically the domain which I purchased in the AWS services. Okay. If you have any other domain you have already purchased or you want to purchase, you can definitely go in the Route 53 service and you can just purchase. But I would recommend if you just using for the practice purpose, so don't invest unnecessary 500 rupees or something, because it's just a one-time practice for you. You can use default URL, but whichever you are getting. Okay. So DNS mapping is not a big challenge or a complex task. It's very simple to use. Okay. I will show you that how it works. Okay. So you don't need to purchase any additional domain just for that practice. So which I already purchased on this. Okay, which is normally whatever the cost you will get, awsguruji.net, .in, .com. It's a different pricing model there based on the extension. Okay, so this is the overview of the AWS console. Then inside that we will create one VPC with this CIDR range 192.168.0.0/16. Okay, then inside that we will divide in two parts, I mean two subnets. One subnet should be public, one subnet should be private. Okay. Why we define this public and private subnet? As I said, our database should be in the private subnet, okay, always, and our web application, which is the UI based front end applications, user interface facing, that should be in the public subnet. Okay, so that's why here we divided into two parts, public subnet and private subnet. In shorts, let's say, what is the difference between public subnet and private subnet? Private subnet basically doesn't have any internet connectivity access, or you cannot expose your services to outer world. Public subnet, you can expose your services to public world, and you will get the internet access here. Okay, as simple as. Now in the real time cases, depends on your project structure and architecture diagram, you can create more. For this project I just created the simple VPC architecture, like only one public subnet, one private subnet. Okay, but going forward we will see, we will create more like two or three private subnet and one more than one public subnet here. Okay, we will cover that in the later next project. Okay, in that setup, once we will see the practical as well, don't worry. So in that, once we define this VPC and public and private subnet, inside that, in the public subnet we will put our application server, which is the EC2 instance, for example. Okay, for this project, on the top of that we will put application load balancer, and for that we will configure the SSL certificate, which is the ACM service, Amazon Certificate Manager Service. Okay, AWS Certificate Manager Service, which we will not get any additional cost for this SSL, because it's they provide the free within a per domain for, but that you can use only within a AWS services. Okay, outer world you cannot use that. For that you need to purchase the additional SSL certificate, which we called as a third party tool. Okay, third party certificate. There is a famous website, Global Sign. This one you can purchase if you want. Okay, third party services. So on the top of that, we will create separate security group for the database, separate security group for the EC2 instance. Okay, for the better security and the traffic flow management. So at the end of the day or end of the project, I can say application will send the request to database to check the connectivity or send the request. Then once connectivity is configured successfully or connected, then database will give the response to the response back to the servers. Okay, we will see that practically how it works. Okay, in the actual configuration. So here we should open application server private IP address in database security group inbound rule to make the connectivity between application and your database. Okay, that's the main networking part here, how it works. Okay, we should not use any public IP address to open the particular port. Okay, because it's a best practice to open the traffic between two services privately. It ultimately gives the more performance wise or speed of the traffic. Okay, so we will show that in the practically. Till now, any doubts, anyone? In the architecture, tech stack, or the project overview?
No.
So basically overall clear, right? So what we are trying to build today.
Yes.
Okay. So now coming to the next. So I will share this all the documents to you. Okay. A1 I will upload here. I have already given you the access. So in the classes, you will see. Oh, let me create. Okay, entry preparation. You will get this project folder, and inside that I will add the going forward. Okay. In the inside entry preparation, then projects. So you will get the day one, day two, day like that project base. Okay. So I will add all the respective architecture diagram, the documents. As of now, I just added this in the plain text format, notepad. But once I get the proper time, I will add in this proper Word documents. You will get the proper format there. Okay. And steps, don't worry. I have mentioned all the steps and troubleshooting area here. Okay. So, so now if there are no further questions, so let's start with this actual implementation. Okay. So prerequisites, we required web server, which is the which am considering Ubuntu 24 latest version basically. Instance type T3 medium. But if you are using free tier account, then you can go with this T3 micro or T2 micro, okay, which is the eligibility of the free tier. If you use apart from those, you will get the additional cost. So just make sure you are using the free tier eligibility instance type only. Okay, as we are doing just a normal practice, so don't go with the C4 series or any M4 series like that. These are the higher configuration which not included in the free tier eligibility. Okay, otherwise you will get surprise cost after end of the month. Okay, so just make sure that. And just additional note, anyone aware about the budgeting? I mean, in AWS account you can configure the budget. Anyone aware about that?
I
In
think there is,
AWS, sorry.
yeah, so I think in the budgeting, there is one option where it is the threshold, we can set up a
Yeah.
threshold. If
y-
like we are reaching nearby it, so it will give us like sort of a alarm, like you are almost there, and if you exceed that threshold, it will a sort of a alarm where it says that you have exceeded the threshold. So uh,
Yes, correct. You are right. So basically, it will save us unnecessary to avoid the unnecessary huge cost. So you can set up the threshold like $2, $3 something. So whatever you can afford. So you can see it's already exceeded. So don't worry about that. So, but in your case, you are using free tier eligibility accounts, okay? Because this my account is not a free tier eligibility. I am using since from 2016, okay? So it's almost gone. So I need to pay every bill here. But in your cases, if you are using a free tier eligibility account, you can configure this budget alert here. Okay, go to your account, billing and cost management. Okay, then here budgets. You can configure the budgets like $2, $3. So you will get the alarm over 60%, 80%, whichever you want to configure that. Okay, so that will give a better benefit there to avoid any unnecessary cost. So that's the first things you should configure on your account. Okay, now coming to this root access, but definitely you should have a root access for this instance. And then we are going to install the Nginx as a web server here. If you read little bit about the difference between Nginx server or Apache servers, you will see Nginx is better than Apache server because it's a lightweight and web server and it gives more performance. That's why we choose here Nginx as a web server. Okay, so you can definitely read about this Nginx versus Apache. Okay, or sometimes we call it as a HTTP. You can definitely go and just read a little bit about that. So Nginx will give a better performance and handle multiple requests. So that's why we choose as a Nginx here. Then database, we selected RDS, MySQL, and for the credential store, we use Secret Manager. Why we use RDS MySQL, not the traditional base EC2 instance? Okay, because if you go to the traditional base EC2 installation or for the database, you will have to perform lots of trouble steps there, like installation of the MySQL through the packages, then starting the service, then managing the backups manually or any bash script or any patching things like that, right? All the efforts you need to put there. And in real time cases, whatever the projects I handle till now in last 10 years, I see most of the people follow the RDS because definitely the little bit cost is different with the RDS, but it will gives you more benefits and the easy to handle. Okay, you don't need to have a Linux expertise there. Okay, and if you look at the replication setup, master slave architecture, so you will have to core knowledge on that to handle the master slave replications on the traditional base EC2 instance. Okay, if I see show you the any simple steps like install MySQL on EC2, for example. If anyone has Linux person, you can understand this. You need to perform all the steps here. This is just a connection part, like installation of the MySQL Community Edition, then starting the service, starting the configuration files here. Okay, then restart the MySQL service. And these are the very simple steps, but you need to follow more than that. Creation of the user, database setups, and if any patching activity or something. So that's additional, give the more effort there. But in IDS case, we will get all the benefits here. You don't need to install any packages here because it's a managed service in the AWS, and you don't need to worry about the services, then any patching activities. AWS will take care all the things. If you read about the shared responsibility model in the AWS, you might get the questions also in the intro panel. What is the shared responsibility model? Okay, so you will get the idea, like the infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, okay, like that. So platform, basically infrastructure will be taken care by the AWS, the AWS or providers. Let's say you are going to the Azure, Google Cloud, like that. But as a customer, we need to worry about the database setup, security, like that on the top of that. But underlying hardware system will taken care by the providers. It might be your Azure, AWS, or your other GCP. So that's a benefit of this. And backup also automatic option there. You don't need to write any Lambda function or any bash scripting there. You will just click just one tick there. Okay, I will show you that as well, and you can done. Now, how we can set up further? First, we will create VPC. Okay, then we will create EC2 instance, then RDS. Okay, then obviously we will try to connect the networking part here to open the network security inbound rules here. Then we will test it. Okay, but before that, in the EC2 instance, we need to perform the all the steps required for the installation of the Nginx, then your other services. Okay, so let's see and create the VPC first. Any questions till now before we start with the practical? So before VPC, sorry, EC2, let's select the VPC here and just create it. Anyone try to create the VPC in the new model, or how normally how you create the VPC? Anyone tried before, practicals or in project?
I have tried to do it in the Terraform.
Okay, you are using Terraform. Okay. Okay, first thing is just always remember. So even you are doing practical or real-time project, always remember first select the region. Okay, if your client based on the North Virginia, Ohio or something, and you are creating the resources unnecessary in the Singapore or Mumbai something, so that's not a good practice, because it might be a different thing issue, or you need to recreate all the resources one more time in the proper region. So always go with the decided region. Okay, it might be decided by the client or our architect, or based on the, basically it's a depend on from where the client is. So based on, let's say for example, I am from the in India, so I'm just always select with the nearest location, which is the Mumbai. Okay, and you can see the region code as well, app south 1, right? So always make sure you should select the region Mumbai, and then you can just search here VPC. VPC, then you will see like this. Just go to this VPC, and you can see this is the default VPC, and this is the custom VPC which I created last time just for the practical purpose. So now I need to create one more VPC. So what I can do is just click on create VPC. Here you will get the two options, VPC only and VPC and more. So this option, the latest one, is recently launched. Okay, I'm not about exactly when this launched, but this is recently. Earlier you have to follow this only single process, this older one, where you need to create the VPC, your subnet, your route 53, sorry, route tables, internet gateway, like that, manually, manual steps. But in the new step, which is this one, okay, you will create the VPC very easily manner. You don't need to give any major steps here. Okay, just give the project name like VPC name, demo project VPC, for example, and just give the CIDR block for the, let's say I'm giving 192.168.0.0/16. Okay, and here you will get the options like how many subnets you required. number of public subnets 2, number of private subnets 2 or more than that, you can just select according to that. Okay, and that's it. And just I don't require any VPC endpoint for now and NAT gateway. Okay, and this option should be select DNS hostname and resolution. If you want to give any additional tag, you can give here. Otherwise, you can just skip it. That is a very simple and easy to easy setup for the VPC. Just give the CIDR block here VPC and then how many subnets you required, public and private, and that's it. And you can just create it. So all the steps and action item he will take care automatically, like creation of the subnets, adding the route table entry, internet gateway attachment to the VPC, all the steps he will take care. So that's very easy to create the VPC steps. Okay, all the associated steps he will perform automatically here. And just click on the VPC and just copy the VPC ID here and go back to the VPC and just refresh one more time. You can see here demo project VPC has been created. Let me rename it. Okay, just copy the VPC ID. You can see the CIDR range here. Go to the subnet. Just paste this ID here. Okay, and refresh. So you can see the naming convention like demo project VPC subnet. You can just sort it out like this: private 1, private 2, public 1, public 2. Okay, as we have selected 2 public, 2 private, right? So he taken care all those things and automatically he will divide the subnets. Okay, subnet is what? Basically a group of IP address. So how many IP address you will get here? So if I can filter it out here, available IP address. Okay, you can just filter it out. You can see 4991. You will get the IP address. Okay. If you go to the route tables, you will see route tables are there automatically created. You can see one public route table. In public route table, you can see the entry routes 000, which is required for the public internet access, and you can see the internet gateway, which will act as a router. Okay, in your home. So public subnet association, you can see here two public subnet configured here. Okay. Now, if you look at the private tables, route table, you can see in routes, you will not see any 0 option here. Okay, because we don't want to give the internet access to the private subnet, right? So that's the reason it's not added any routes here. If you configure or bypass these steps, like adding the 0 and selecting the internet gateway, okay, then save, you will your private subnet will become a public subnet, but that is a not good practice. So I'm just showing you option where you can do this. But in real time, if you want internet access to the private subnets, so you can use NAT gateway there. NAT gateway is a different concept you can see here. So NAT gateway helps you to supply the internet connection to the private subnet. Okay, let's say you are doing any patching activity for the private subnet network or something. So in that case, you can configure the NAT gateway. NAT gateway always should be configured on the top of public subnet. Okay, just make a note of that. An internet gateway, you can just search by the VPC ID. You will see that. Okay, it's automatically configured and attached to that VPC. So this all the steps will taken care by that new option VPC and more. You don't need to worry about the each configurations and settings. He will taken care by automatically. Just one more items you need to check before creating the resources. What is? Just filter it out public subnet by VPC ID. And here in public subnet, just click on that and go to action and setting. Edit subnet setting. Make sure this enable auto assign public IP address. So what will happen if you don't check this and create the EC2 instance? So your EC2 instance will not assign public IP address. Okay, so that is the setting is about. So you need to make sure this and just save it. Same setting for second public subnet, only for the public subnet. Okay, not the private one. Go to action edit settings and enable this and save it. That's it. So now we are good with VPC part. So next item is we will configure the EC2 instance now. So as we have discussed, we will take care the Ubuntu base EC2 here. Go to the EC2 service. Okay. Go to the instance running and just launch it. Launch instance. Give the name like demo project web server like this and just select the OS here, Ubuntu. In between, if anyone has any doubts, just let me know. Okay, so I will pause here. Just select the latest OS, which is Ubuntu Server 24, and it's a pre-tier eligibility.
I sent you a message on chat.
Which chart? Here. Can we do more than 2 public and 2 private subnet, or it's by default configuration we can do this? Yeah, you can add more than that. No issues. So as I discussed in previous batch, you can use custom option, okay, which is VPC earlier version option there, and you can just use this calculator, subnet calculator, right? We have discussed in our batch.
Yes.
So this is very best and simple to use tool. You can just add the CIDR mask here, okay, 192.168.0.0.16, and you will get this by default single subnet. You can just divide it. Let's say you want to divide more on this, okay. So you will get the subnet address automatically and the range. If you want more than, if you want to divide in this, you can just click on this divide and you will get this two subnet, more subnet. So like this, you can add more subnets.
Okay, get it. Thank you.
Okay. Let me paste this URL. This is very simple to use your website. You don't need to use any calculator or something. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So now coming to this instance type, as I said, go with always free tier eligibility. Okay. Because if you go more than that, you will get additional cost. So you will see the automatic option free tier eligibility. Okay. Only select those one. So let's go with that T2 micro. And then key pair. Key pair is basically authentication mechanism, which let's say you are building any servers or VM on premises server or any other physical machine, you will get username and credentials. But in this mechanism in AWS authentication model, they by default not give you the username and password. They will provide you the key pair login mechanism. Okay, that's why you need to first create the key pair. If you skip this part, you will not able to get that access. Okay, so this is the mandatory part. You have to create the key pair. So how you can generate the key pair? I have already created last time, so I can select those one if you already have. If you don't have, just go here, create new key pair and give the key pair name like demo project web server. Okay, and select the format like PPK. If you are using Windows machine on your local, you can go with this option PPK. And if you have a Ubuntu based client on your local laptop or desktop, you can go with this PEM. Okay, that will support it. So just click on that and just click on create pair. Okay, the key pair will automatically download. So you can use Putty tool here, Putty to log in that particular Linux server. Okay, just I have selected that. Under network and settings, as we have created the new VPC here, demo project VPC. So I'm just selecting that. Okay, and just make sure you always go with this proper subnet here. Don't select private subnet here. Okay, always select the public one. So public one I am going to select, which is created in the app south 1A availability zone 1. Okay, just make sure that, because this values, networking values, you cannot modify later. That's why you need to carefully here public app south 1. Okay, now elastic IP address enabled automatically. Now coming to the security part. So as you said, according to architecture diagram, we can create the new security group here. Let's say demo project web server. Okay, security group, and just let keep by default SSH anywhere, but in real time you should not make it anywhere. Okay, so always make sure you will select custom here and add your office VPN IP address. So every office will have a dedicated VPN, so don't worry. So either you can ask network team to share the VPN address, or you will get from your what is my IP address after connecting to your VPN. Okay, but as a best practice, you can just ask your network team or IS team, which every company has that department. Okay, who support internally. So you can get the IP address of the VPN here. Okay, and you can just add those here and just save the rules. For now, practical purpose, I am just selecting anywhere here and just I'm going to launch it. So it will take little bit time as it's going to have the checks pass here from the backend, right? And we will get by default one public IP address here. We can just copy it. Okay. And let's configure the connectivity. From where we can configure, we can use Putty tool. If you don't have a Putty, you can just simply download from the official website, putty.org. Okay. From here, you can just download these tools. Just click on download Putty, you will get that. If you have any other FTP SSH client, you can definitely go with that as well. It's up to you which one you use. But I normally use this Putty. Just add the IP address here of the EC2 server, then go to your SSH auth and just click on this credential. And here, first column, private key file authentication. Select that file. Which one? Key pair, which we have created and downloaded automatically. Okay. Just select that key pair and open it. Now, if you don't want to use username again and again to connect that server, so you have the options. Under connection, you have this data option here, and auto login username you can just add here. Like in AWS, if you launch Amazon Linux or CentOS base, okay, so you need to use username as a EC2-user. But if you launch OS as a Ubuntu, then your username will be Ubuntu here. Okay, and for the Windows, it's administrator is a by default username. Okay, just make a note of this. And here you can give the name like demo web server, right? And you can just save this session. So you can, if you cancel this putty session and you again launch it, you will get the automatically saved option here. Okay. So before that, let me increase the font size so you will get better visibility about the font. 16. Yes. Save it and open it. Okay. So you will ask this fingerprint, just accept it. And that's it. We are able to log in here. Just go into the sudo privileges and just run apt update to update the packages. Okay. This is the first action item. You have to do it. I have added all the steps here. Okay. Like create the EC2 install, then update this package and going forward steps. Okay. So we will go that step by step. And apt get upgrade to upgrade the latest version. Okay. And -y. Font is visible, everyone?
Yes.
So now we have done with this. Now just check the status of this Apache service if it by default running on this machine, because we are going to configure the Nginx server. So how we can check system CTL status Apache 2. It's not there. One more command is there like netstat -tlupn. You can use this to check the any particular service port open or not. Okay, package is not installed, so we can install quickly. apt install net tools. Okay, netstat command we can use to check the service port number, okay, on the server. So you can see there are no any 80 port running here. Okay, it's a SSH port number and this local 53, which is fine. Now what we can do is the next step I just mentioned here, like just to check the status. If it's already running sometimes, so what you can do is you can just stop it and disable it. Okay, because we are not going to use that. Next step, you need to install the required packages for the Nginx PHP. Why I am going to install the PHP apart from this Nginx? Because I want to show you the complete database connectivity from the app server. Okay, I have not fully functional website now, because you can consider as a fully functional website. So I want to see how it's connect app server to database servers. Okay, that is the reason I am going to use PHP here. So just copy this complete command. This is going to install the Nginx and PHP. Okay, so it will ask the confirmation. You can just type S and you can see which version is going to install. A PHP 8.3. Okay, so that is the reason. So you can see on the number of YouTube channels or from any friend circles. So as a DevOps, we should have a at least basic understanding of the Linux. Okay, because even you are working on the infrastructure as a code, Terraform, CI/CD pipeline, YAML file, at least we should have a command line by expertise there. Okay, so we can understand what's things going on behind the commands or services. So that is done. So now the next step is how we can check the status. System CTL status Nginx. Okay, so you can see it's a failed. Why it's failed? Let's check again that command. You can see 80 port is running for the Apache 2. Okay, that is the reason I just mentioned here. Just check the status of the Apache 2. If it's running, so first stop it, because Nginx and Apache work on both 80 ports, so that's why he is not able to start the service. So if you stop it, that Apache 2, now we can start the Nginx. Systemctl start Nginx. Okay, now it's running. If I want to check the status, systemctl status Nginx. Okay, you can see now it's in active state. Okay, so I have already mentioned here, so don't worry. Or I can mention here after the installation, right? Okay, all right. Why we use this command systemctl disable EC2? Because even let's say if you rebooted your machine, so it will automatically, it will not start. Okay, if you enable it, then automatically it will be started. Like in Windows machine, you will have this option, right? Select the taskbar settings. I think not taskbar setting, task manager. Then you will have this option here, startup, right? You can just If you enable it, it will automatically start when the system rebooted, like that. Then we can do same thing for this Nginx as well. Systemctl enable Nginx, okay? Because we are going to use Nginx, so we want to make sure that when the system got rebooted, that Nginx service should start automatically, okay? Just paste it. Now what action is pending now? Let's check the PHP version because we need required for the website. PHP. I'm just showing additional part out of the project, which you can just have a little bit overview like how it work in the real time. Okay. So now we are done with this EC2 servers. So now second step is next create RDS instance. Okay. RDS MySQL instance, right? Let's go to your service. We have done with this web server. If you want to check, just click on this server and copy the IP address, right? And just paste here. It's not working because, can anyone guess why it's not working?
Security group.
Right. So we have only opened the SSH port number, not the HTTP. Okay, right? So let's go to the security group and open in the new tab. If it's a public facing application, so definitely you can open the HTTP port. Just click on add rules and from here, click on the select, type HTTP and do this anywhere. Okay. And just save rules. So let's verify now. See, it's a default Apache 2 page. So what is the default Apache 2 page? Let's verify that. Go to by using cd command var www HTML. Okay, this is the default document root. Inside that you can see index.html page. So what I am going to do is I am going to remove these configuration files. Okay, because we not required. Over meantime, I can just add the any sample word here. Welcome to demo web server. All right. Let's save it and just refresh. See, okay. So I will show you the which we are going to deploy the PHP page here. Let's go to the RDS service now because we have done with the EC2 server now. Let's go to RDS service. Just search here RDS and open in the new tab. All right. Go to the, make sure you are in the right region here. Okay, always go to the DB instance. This instance I created yesterday to check this connectivity and all the setups. Okay, so I will not use that. I will go and create fresh one. Create DB. Just select the standard. Here you will get the lots of engine type option. MySQL, Postgres, Oracle, MariaDB, IBM DB, Microsoft SQL Server, which people use for the Windows.NET based application. So if you read about the little bit on this Aurora, MySQL Postgres and normal standard MySQL Postgres. Okay. So just if I give you the shorts overview. So basically in the Aurora base, it's a design or customized by the AWS itself. They have optimized more better performance than this my standard MySQL Postgres and MySQL. Okay. And also if you select Aurora as an engine, MySQL or Postgres, depend on your project style. So here you will not worry about the disk space. It's a normally EC2 instance we create a select the disk space size 20 GB, 30 GB, 100 GB like that. But in here Aurora case, we don't need to worry about the database size. Okay, it will automatically scale up or scale down. If your data increase in the database, it will automatically scale up. If your data gets decreased, like you delete any unnecessary records, you means your database team. unnecessary database records or something. So it will automatically reduce the database size. So that's a additional benefit on the top of that. But in the MySQL normal standards, you need to take care about the disk space. That you need to, let's say your disk space gets full, so then in that case you need to manually increase that disk space. Okay, that is the additionally hectic part here. So we can go with this Aurora engine here. So there are more benefits apart from that. You can just go through the theoretical part. Okay, but this is the disk space part is a major benefits and performance wise as well. This Aurora engine is better than this standard one. Definitely cost wise little bit difference, but you will get more benefits here as a performance wise. So I'm going to use this MySQL for this project. Okay, and let it be the latest version. It's MySQL 8.032. Okay, then here templates. This is just a template, so don't worry about that. Always go with this production. Or if you are just doing the normal practice, you will can just select this devo test. Just option will be changed drop down, but not a major things. So production, give the database identifier name like EC2 instance name, right? So give the demo project DB. Okay, and this is the credential part, which is the admin database credentials. Okay, so admin master username you can keep whatever you want. By default it will be admin. Let's say you want to keep DB admin or any root or any other username. It's up to you. You can just modify that. Okay, but I will keep this default admin as a database username. Here you will get the two options. Okay, either credentials password you can store in the secret manager, which is the secure part which we discussed earlier, or if you select self manage, you can generate the password here. Either you can use auto generate password or you can just use type manual password here, or you will get the password generator online like this. If you increase the complexity, you will get more complex password and you can just use that. Okay, this is the additional context, but as I said, most secure, you can just go and just use this option. Secret manager. Okay, it will automatically taken care by secret manager. And the instance configuration, like if you have a heavy workload like a e-commerce website or something, then you can go with this memory optimized instance because it's read and write operations there, right? So you can go with this different service series here, instance type. DB R file large like 2 core 16 GB RAM you will get. If you increase more than that, you will get more RAM CPU there. Okay, but for the practice purpose, I will go with this bus table option, which is the minimum support is T3 medium for the Aurora engine. Okay, if you go with the standard one, standard MySQL as we discussed, you will get the T2 micro, T3 micro like that. Okay, but Aurora, this is the minimum supported instance type. So this option is availability. If you required master slave architecture, multi-AZ deployments for the better failover, as in the real-time cases, you can go with this option. You will get the master and reader node there. So in case anything failure on the master level, it will automatically promote to your read server to master. Okay. So for that, you can use this better availability. For now, this project we can't go with this. Okay, we can go with this single server. But if you require better failover, you can go with this option. Failover multi-AZ. Okay. So for now, I can go with the single instance and connectivity. Let it keep is a default IP address. VPC, you can select proper one. Which one? We have created this one, right? Demo project VPC. If you select wrong VPC here, you cannot modify later on. Okay. Now here is one more option. Here public access is option. let's say as we discussed earlier, A1 you keep. I mean, if you let's say you are going to create this MySQL server in private subnet, and if you keep this option open by mistakenly, for example, ideally this should be private one. Ideally this should be public access no, but let's say by mistakenly you have keep this public accessible yes. Still you cannot access your database server from outside because your subnet doesn't have a internet connectivity. That is the reason that service will not expose any port to outer world. Okay, but ideally you should be have this public access no. Okay, as a real-time project. But now we are going to configure from our local machine. Okay, because we don't have a complete VPN setup here to access that private server or any bastion server. So I'm just going to select that with the public subnet. Okay, just for the showing you the demo. Okay, but at the real time you should have a public access no here. Okay, so for now I'm just going to select is yes. And the security group, we can create new one here for the database separately. Give the name like demo project DB. Okay. And availability zones, it will taken care by automatically. You don't need to worry about that. Port number, MySQL port number is default one 3306. Okay. And more than that, like if you want to enable the monitoring options, you can just enable this. Okay, enhance. You will get the more metrics and the monitoring options here. But that will be additional charges here. Okay, just make a note of this. So for this, I am just going to disable it. Okay, if you enable this, it will automatically you will get the options, monitoring options. But you will get the additional charges there. So that's the reason I'm just disabling that. Additional configurations, you can configure the default project name here. Sorry, database name, right? So you can give the like demo DB here like this. Or I can simply use this like this. Initial database name basically. Okay. So when this instance created RDS, it will create by default this database username demo DB. Okay. Then these are the parameter groups which you can configure in the future. Like let's say you want to add any variables value in the database like in the timeout queries. It's a part of the database optimization. Okay. That will mostly taken care by the either a database team or sometimes developer will inform you like just change the database connectivity timeout or something. That's additional part. We will go with the default one. And for the backup option, you can see here in the Aurora, you cannot disable the backups. Okay, at least you should select minimum 1 days to maximum 35 days. This is the retention period of the backup. Maximum you can select up to 30 days, sorry, 35 days. So ideally it depends on the backup policy decided by the client or your tech architect. You can go with that. Normally we select say 1 week or something, but as a this demo project, so I'm just going with the minimum one, okay, which is the default 1 year. So he will take care by the he will take daily basis one backup and automatically he will delete the older backup than 1 days. Okay, so we don't need to worry about this manual deletion, the older backups. He will automatically taken care. So that's the additional benefit of using this RDS service. Encryption, yes, it's a KMS is the encryption for the database layer. And if you want to expose or generate the log for your database, let's say if you get any issues in database like connection or any error log, general log, so you can enable these options. Audit log, general log, slow query, this one. So you will get the database log here. Okay, but this will charge additionally. Okay, because that logs will store right so in the backend S3 bucket. So you will get more little bit charge over there. So for this demo practice, I'm just skipping those part. But when you are trying to build in the real-time project, you can just select these options. Okay, for the log, database log. Now maintenance part. As I said, if you go with the traditional base EC2 base MySQL, you need to take care by the patching activities or upgradation of the database like that. But in RDS cases, you don't need to worry about that. Okay, that will taken care by the AWS itself. But for that, you need to give this option enabled, like enable auto minor version upgrade. Let's say you are using 8.0 or 1 minor version, and let's say tomorrow there are some patches happening from the backend side, new database rollout version. In that case, if there are this version rollout like 8.0.2 for example, so you will get automatically notification here on the bell icon, like here AWS will send you the notification, like you will have this patching activity and it will automatically taken care by the AWS. So for that you need to enable this maintenance option and choose the preference maintenance window, because no one want to have the activity during the working day or business hours. So you can just always go with the choose maintenance window and go with either Saturday or Sunday. Let's say you have selected Saturday, start time midnight or something, depend on your workload. Let's say Saturday midnight, you don't have any major workload on your websites, so you can just definitely choose accordingly where the traffic is lower one. Okay. So based on that, you can just select. For now, I'm just skipping that part, but in real time, you can just select this option. Okay. Auto minor version upgrade. So any patching activity will happen from the AWS side. They will automatically take care. We as a customer, we don't need to worry about this. Okay. And we don't require any major downtime here. That is also additional benefit by using the RDS service. Now next step, deletion protection. This is also a very important part. Let's say suddenly someone write any wrong script or something, you can see, you might seen in the last couple of weeks, months in the news, some people use the wrong script and deleted all the infrastructure. Okay. So in that case, to avoid any manual mistakes or human errors, so you can just always, as a best practice, you should enable this deletion protection. Okay. If someone accidentally tried to delete, so he's not able to delete that instance. Okay. So that's why you can enable this option, deletion protection. For this testing purpose, I am just skipping that part, but in real time cases, you can just enable this option. Now you don't need to calculate separately how much cost you will get at the end of month. That's the AWS, they have given this dashboard here. Based on the configurations instance type you have taken, he will automatically show you here the monthly cost. You will get like this USD $86 per month. Okay. So these are the configuration for the database. Once you are done with that, just simply click on the create database. So it will take a couple of minutes here to get it stable. So we need to wait for that. And you will get the credentials in the secret manager service. So if I search secret here, secret manager service, just open in the new tab. You can see today is the 13th July, right? This one is created yesterday during the practice, but today is the 13th July. So you can see this is the new secret credentials. Okay. So how you will see like this, but for this you should have admin access. Okay. Otherwise the person who have only read access, he cannot view this dashboards, or he cannot retrieve the credentials. How you can check the password? Just first select the secret manager service. Okay, go to the secrets and you will see the your secret here. Okay, which you have created recently, and just click on that and you will see option here, retrieve secret value. If you have admin access only, then you can able to retrieve these credentials. Otherwise you will get the error like permission denied, or you are not authorized to retrieve this password. Okay, and you can see it's automatically generated the complex password. You don't need to worry about the using any third party password generator or something. You will get this automatically. So now we need to wait a couple of minutes to get it up and running. You can see, just forget about this above one. Okay, which is I created yesterday, but just focus on this below one. It's in creation mode. So meantime, what we can do is, any questions, anyone till now?
Yes, I sent you a message on the secret manager on the rotation aspect. Can you throw more light on the rotation aspects when it comes to the secret manager?
So it's basically additional feature, like let's say you are using this secret here, right? This one, but this is just a security part. Like you cannot use same password for more than 1 month, 2 month, or more than that. Just a security. Let's say if somehow it's got exposed or spam, so spammer can use or hack your database somehow, right? So that's a security part basically. You need to rotate your password regularly after particular intervals, like 1 month, 3 months, or something like that. That's just a security part.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah, Aparna.
So, regarding the putty which you showed, so is it necessary that we should have the putty, or we can use the Ubuntu in Windows terminal?
That putty is just basically the client which you can access your Linux based server.
Yeah,
Similar
but
like in Windows, let's say you want to create the connect the Windows servers. So what we do, we use remote terminal, right? This remote desktop. It's not necessary to use putty only. So there are number of other tools as well in the market. I think Yum Putty, or some people use different tools.
yeah, but my question is, if suppose I have a Windows terminal, and in that we can use the Ubuntu, right? So, like, if I try to use these things in that Ubuntu, uh, will it work, or if for like we should have the putty only?
Aparna, your voice is little bit lower in between. But if I understand your questions, if you have a Linux-based machine, so you don't need to use that putty. You can through the command line you can access that server.
Okay, so it means like Ubuntu in Windows terminal, that will also work, right?
Sorry, your voice is not audible clearly.
Is it fine now? Am I audible?
In little bit in between, it's getting disconnected. Or
So my only thing is like I have recently checked out Windows terminal, and in that we have the Ubuntu, Windows terminal. You don't have to install the Ubuntu. Sorry, you have to install the Ubuntu, but like earlier where we used to have to make a partition in our system, then we have to install the thing. So I just want to know, like, this putty thing, we have to uh, have in our system, or if we have Ubuntu, then also it will work out. That's the only question.
only am I the only facing issue or not able to hear Aparna, or anyone facing same?
Yes, can't even hear her
Same
clearly.
for me.
So Aparna, if you are asking about the like on Windows shell, if you install your Ubuntu terminal, so you can if you have that feature available on your local machine, so definitely you can use terminal there to connect to your Linux based machine. If you are asking this question, so basically you can use like this for Linux, uh, SSH hyphen I, give the PEM file path. Okay, your key dot pem, then Ubuntu at the rate IP address of the server. Okay, like this, and then you will able to get it into your Linux based server if you have that feature available on your local machine. Otherwise, you can go either Putty or any other client tools available in the market. Is that the question? You are not audible. Okay. So you can see database is up. So now what we can do is just click on this demo project DB instance, right? What we required endpoint. So in EC2 instance, we get IP address, but in database case, we will not get IP address. Okay, we will get like this endpoint. Just copy this endpoint and go to your secret manager. So now we have a database credentials endpoint, which is the connect for the connection, and username and password. This one, right? Admin and user this password. So now we will deploy our application basically. I have a single page PHP page where we can do that changes, right? So let's go to our EC2 instance and see the documents, what else pending. So we have created the EC2, install the Nginx, PHP, then we have created the RDS instance. Now from the web server, we want to check the connectivity to the database. Okay. How we can check? Either you can do telnet or you can try to connect. Okay. So let's go to your EC2 instance server and do the telnet space, copy this endpoint. Okay. Copy this and space, give the port number 3306. Okay. And just try to hit. So this will basically check the connectivity from app server to database servers. So it's trying to connect, but it will not able to connect because we have not opened the port number for the app server, right? So what we can do is go to the database security group, okay, not the app server security group. Go to the database security group. You will get it here. Open in new tab. Click on this security group. Click on inbound rules. Okay, edit inbound rules. And here you can see MySQL port is open only for the my internet IP address, not the everyone. So what I can do is go to the EC2 instance section here, web server, copy the private IP address. As I said, don't copy the public IP address. Okay, copy this private IP address, right? And go to the security group of the database. Okay, just make a note of this. Paste this web server IP address and give the /32. And you can just mention the comment here, web server IP. Okay. Same thing, we can open the MySQL port number for my local machine because I don't have any company VPN now. It's we are using as a personal. So I want to connect this database from my local machine. Okay. In real-time cases, we have a VPN connectivity there, so we can use open the MySQL port for that VPN only. Okay, VPN IP address, not the public one like 00. That will be a compliance issue, security compliance issue. Okay, just make a note of this. Open only for the required port number. VPN, I mean VPN. So for now, I can just select the my IP. So it will take automatically my internet IP address. Or the second process is you can just search like this. What is my IP? And you will get this internet IP address. This one. Okay. Or another website is ifconfig.co. You will get this IP address. Okay. But here it's yeah.
Sir, can we add security group of EC2 over there?
Yeah, that also available, feature available. If you don't want to use IP address, you can just use a security group as well, like this security group ID, this one. That also you can use, no issues. So we have opened the MySQL port for that web server IP and for my local machine. Okay, my internet IP. Okay, then just save it. And that is done. Now go back to your EC2 server and check one more time and just see. So we are able to successfully connect now from the application server. So let's quit this. Now what we can do is As of now, our website server is showing this, right? Welcome to demo web server, because we have not deployed that database changes. So next step is we have successfully connected here. I have mentioned the steps, so don't worry. I will make a note of this here. Okay. Open required MySQL port for web server private IP. Okay. In database security group inbound rule, right? Once that is done, and check the connectivity like this. Once that is done, now on the web server, we have to modify one changes here because we are adding the sample single page website here. Okay. Okay. Go to your var HTML, which we already there, right? How we can check by using pwd command. Present working directory var HTML. Okay. So we have this index.html page. So let me remove that because we don't require. Okay. So now we don't have any files here. We need to create one index.php because we are going to deploy the PHP based website here. Press I to go into the insert mode. Now I have one sample page here for the index.php and I will share with you also. Okay, for your practice purpose. This is the index.page PHP. Let me open it in a notepad, edit with notepad. So here we need to replace the server database credentials like your endpoint name, username we already use that admin, so we cannot, so we don't need to modify that, and we just need to modify the database name and your credentials here basically. So from where we can get these credentials in this file, go to your AWS console, go to this RDS, right? Select this writer instance and you will get the endpoint here. Just copy that and just replace this one. Okay, I will share this complete file with you. But on the line number 28, server name, username, password, you need to modify. Okay. Just paste that endpoint. Now admin we have same. Just replace the password. So from where we can get the password, go to the secret manager service, and as we already retrieved this password, just click on this copy. Okay. If you during the IDS creation, if you change your username for the database, so that also you need to modify that. If you keep by default admin, so you don't need to worry about this. Okay. And just replace the password value here. All right. And we are using the sample database here, right? DB name should be sample or whatever you are using DB name during the creation, that you need to replace here. Okay. But for this demo purpose, I am using sample DB here. So this is the settings. Now copy this complete PHP code and just paste in the this file. Okay. And just save it. Press escape, shift colon WQ. Okay. To save the file in the Linux. So we have created this index.php. If you want to verify, just do by cat command and you will see all the context here. Okay. So now what we can do is so you might face the issue. Let's say this web server, right? If you hit this now, you can see forbidden issue. Okay. So we need to do one more changes here. I have already mentioned here, so don't worry. Once we copied this PHP file, then as we have, this is the Nginx server. So we need to go to this /etc nginx sites default page. This is the configuration location basically for the Nginx. Do this by VIM editor and just shift colon set nu. This command is used to just print the line number basically. Okay. Shift G. So by pressing the shift G, you will go to the bottom of this page. Okay, just little bit scroll up. Here you will see line number 44. Okay. So in case you might have seen the different line number, but just make a note of this. This is the default document root where www.html. If you want to place your website in different folder structure, you can definitely go to that. But this is the default one. Okay, where www.html. So in this index.file, if you, as we have seen, we are using the PHP based website. So you don't see here any index.php file. Okay, that's why it's not working. So you can just add here index.php and space. Okay, and now press shift colon WQ. Okay. So what is the command to before restart the Nginx server? You can just verify that syntax, whatever you have added in the configuration file, that is the correct. You can use nginx -t command to check the configuration file. Nginx -t. Okay. This is just to verify the configuration files. So in the production system, you cannot blindly restart your service. Okay. Just verify that whatever the things you have added in the configuration file, that should be that working properly. Okay, otherwise you don't do you never check the syntax, you whatever the modification you have done, and if you restart the service, your server will be down. I mean, your website will not work, that because your service will down, right? So in that case, so always use this -t option to verify the syntax. Okay, if you have any added any wrong line number or something, you will get the error here during the checks. So now if I want to restart this Nginx service, okay, it's restarted. Let me try to refresh. So you are able to see same error, but you can see the changes here that PHP page is not working, right? It's downloaded as a page. That also sorry, we need to make more changes here. What changes you need to make? I have added that notes as well. We need to enable this fast CGI PHP script to get it working, the index.php file on the Linux server. Okay, so that step also I have added here, so don't worry. So what I can do is I will go back to that configuration file, vim editor /etc nginx sites available default. I will go to the line number, or you can just print the line number and little bit go down on the line number. Here line number 60. Okay, line number 60. You can remove this comment box. Okay, this is the, and just replace the PHP version, because when we initially first install the PHP version, it's a 8.3, right? If you remember the PHP version, just replace that PHP version. If you are not sure about the PHP version, so you can just verify one more time. I will show you, and also enable this option. Include PHP config and this one. Okay, I have already mentioned here. This is just to get it working the PHP website basically. Okay, this one I have already mentioned this, so you don't need to worry about that. And this option. Okay, then shift colon WQ to save this configuration file. If you want to verify the PHP version, you can see we are using 8.3. Okay, so that is the format you can use. Now let me verify one more time configuration file. You can see I have made one mistake here. unexpected end of file expecting this. Okay, you can see this kind of error if you make any mistakes, right? So if I don't check this Nginx syntax, what will happen? And I blindly restarted the Nginx service. What will happen if I want to check the systemctl status Nginx? My website is my service is failed, right? If I try to hit now, it's not working now, right? So basically your website will be down here. So as a best practice, you always go with this proper syntax check first before starting the service. So I have made some mistakes here in the configuration file on the line number 20, sorry, 92, right? As per the error. So let me check that. How you can print the line number? Shift colon set nu, set number basically, okay? And just let me check that. In the configuration file, I have given that here. This bracket basically I need to uncomment it. So let me go to the line number 63 here, okay? 63 and just remove that, okay? And save it. Now if I want to verify that, so this time it's properly configured, right? So systemctl start nginx because it's stopped, right? So it's started now. If I want to check the status one more time, it's now running properly, right? So let's go to the servers and what he's saying, it's basically connection failed, right? It's showing connection failed. From here, he is not able to access that. Web server is trying to connect the database, but it's failing, right? So we can check the details here, what things we have missed or why it's not going to connect. Also, let me check with this status. It's running. Now, some more pending task is here. Now, EC2 site, we have created the Nginx, installed the Nginx PHP. We have configured the web application with the PHP, right? PHP configuration, and we have deployed the one sample index.php file, right? Now, the next pending action item is on the RDS side. I have mentioned here. Go to your RDS servers, connect it from your local machine. How you can connect from your local machine? You can use MySQL Workbench. If you remember or aware about this tool, this is just a MySQL client you can use to connect your database servers. Some people use DBviewer. If you aware, DBviewer supports multiple database connection. DBviewer, this one you can, by using this tool you can use connect your SQL server, MongoDB, your MySQL, MSQL, Postgres like that. Okay, but MySQL Workbench is a dedicated for the MySQL basically. So you are able to see now connection failed because whatever the credentials we have passed here, which one? This admin sample DB, that's database is not yet created, right, on the database server. So what we can do is we can configure the new connection here. This is how you can connect your MySQL server. Just click on this plus button, right? You can give the name like demo project DB and give the connection string here. Host name, it should not be IP address, it will be a credentials. So which credentials? Go to RDS servers and just copy this endpoint. Give endpoint here. We are just connecting to database server, right? if anyone has any confusion in this. Give the admin name. Now password, from where we can get the password. In the secret manager, just copy that and just click on this store in Vault, okay? And just paste it, click OK and test the connection. If everything goes well, you will see the successful message here. Successfully connecting to the servers. Otherwise, you will get the error message failed to connect like this, okay? So we can check the security group now because it's taking time. Otherwise, if everything goes well, he will not take too much time to connect. Okay, let's go to the security group and just check the inbound rule. Go to edits. It might be my IP address might be changed. MySQL and just my IP. Save it. It's still taking time, means something wrong with the connectivity. So how you can troubleshoot? Just go to your database server and let's see. Yes, I have configured the public accessibility. Yes. Might be any IP address changes because I'm using the public ISP now. So let me open the security group one more time of the database server. Okay. And I will make a temporary anywhere for this just to check the IP address of my local internet. I go to inbound rules, click on the edit. Okay, here I will just replace as a anywhere temporary and just save it. So let me verify now.
Sir, how it will connect? Because it is in private subnet and we don't have net gateway for it.
No, for temporary, as I said, I have just make it in a public subnet during the subnet configuration basically. Let me show you that because we don't have any dedicated VPN and that real-time setup now. So I just make it as a public here. Let me check the configuration one more time. So when we create this database server, you can see we have made it as a public accessible, yes, and the subnet which we are using here it's both one like public and private because we don't have any that kind of setup now VPN and that. So for that we have used this subnet configuration. If I click each subnet, you will see that option. But in the real-time cases, we should use only this is the public private one, fine, and you will also get the public one. But in real-time cases, we should use only the private subnet when we are trying to. And you for that, if you want to connect that database servers, in that case, you will use Bastion server or Jump server if you are aware about that concept, Bastion or Jump server to connect that private database. So there might be some issues. Let me verify one more time. Because we need to create the database name, then our application will be connected. Otherwise, you will see now connecting failed. Let me verify this one more time. Endpoint, let me copy.
We have we are allowing the public one.
Port number is correct. Admin username. Let me copy the password one more time. Just retrieve it and just copy it. Okay. And just store in Vault. It's taking time. That means it's not able to connect. What is missing? Let me verify the security group one more time. This is I'm just temporarily checking. with all traffic open. Okay, still not connecting. Might be something subnet level or network part. Let me try to do one tweak meantime. Okay, so the subnet which we created privately, let me try to give the temporary internet access. Let's see it will work or not. Just to confirm, is that only related to subnet or something? VPC. This is the project IP. Go to the subnet. But ideally this should not be the case. But let's verify. So in the route table, the private one only. Okay. Let me try to add the that internet route just to check the connectivity if that is the only case or something else. Internet gateway, attach it. Same thing for different one. So I have given the internet access temporarily to check the connectivity. So let me try to refresh. Okay. He's asking password. So let me get the latest password. Just retry it. And yeah, it's connecting now. So I will show you what mistakes we have made it here. So, but it's working from the my app server. Okay, just make a note of this because it's privately working properly. Just I want to try to connect from my local machine. That's the reason only I just given the internet access just because I want to show you the how we can create the database, how we can create the tables and records. Okay, in the real time cases, we can use lambda function or some script. Okay, ideally I see we can use lambda function where you can connect your database servers securely by getting the credentials from your secret manager and create the database tables, whatever the required you have. Okay, the person who are from the backend developer or somewhere, he can write down the lambda function for you. So he will create the database tables, database name like that from their lambda function. So he can just securely connect privately. Okay, you should not open this public connectivity from your local machine. I want to just show you how we can create this setup. So that's why I just open it for the local machine. That is the only reason. Otherwise, it will be a private one. So earlier we have just tested it by telnet command, right, from the app server, and it was working properly. So how we can connect the database now? If we have this query here ready, I will add in this document as well. So you will get that. So basically I just creating the simple sample database name. I'm just using that sample DB and I'm just creating one table there. Okay. And in that table, I'm just adding the value, like you can add number of values. For example, you can add like this. I will show you first now. Let's say demo user network engineer. Example user SR engineer. Okay. So now what we can do is we can create the database name table here by using this query. How we can execute this? Just place a cursor on that and just execute this query. You can see the output here. The database has been created. Now place a cursor on this, use sample DB. These are the database query basically. Okay. If you are not aware about this database query, we use this database. Now we can just simply execute this query now. So what will happen? You can just expand this schema button here and just refresh it. And you can see we have created the sample DB, and inside that we have the table called users. Okay, create table users. So inside that we don't have any entry now. So how we can create the entry now or add the records? So we have this option here. Okay. So actually this is a part of this database administrator jobs, but just to show the real-time case, I'm just showing you. Okay. And just paste here this insert query and place a cursor and just execute it. Okay. You will see the options here, outputs in the green. If you have any syntax error in the query, you will see the error message. Okay. And if I refresh this now, you can see the table has been created, and in that right click on that table and select row, and you will see the record here. As of now, just one record, two record basically, name and the role. So now what we can do is we can check from the app server. If I refresh this window now, it's still getting issues. Okay, because we need to replace the password. So we use this password, right? So go to our web server. And just open that index.php file and just see where that password is. Go to the top. On the line number 30, right? We have this password. So just replace it. How you can replace? Either go into the insert mode and just little bit scroll down and just replace this word, or just a shortcut is find and replace option. Shift colon percent and S small, give the values here. Okay. The source value, this one, just add it here, then slash target value which you are going to replace it. Just normal find and replace, right, in the Windows or Word notepad. And then finally slash G. G means global. Okay, that password has something issue, that's why he just not able to recognize. So what we can do is we can just go and just manually change it. Go to the line number 30 and just place I to go into the insert mode and just replace it manually here. Okay. And just paste the new password here. Okay. And just save that file. Now let's refresh this page. See. So this is the sample one page website. You can see connection. So what we are trying to achieve this index.php page basically. So we are just checking the database connection from the website, our app server. So we have this just a HTML page just to printing the color code like that. And we have given the database credential name here and just trying to create the connection to the database, and whatever the in the database records, table records, we are trying to fetch on the website here. This is that is the query here. Just check the username, password, select star from the users table, which we have created tables, right? So whatever the data is there, we are just fetching it. If any issue with the database, we are passing the message here like echo connection failed, as you have seen the earlier. Okay, and just you can see sample data output username. Now if I try to add more records here, like this demo user and network engineer, so we can just try to add that. Just press enter and just add this here and just execute this query. Okay, you can see the successfully executed. Now if you refresh this website page, see the record has been added and it's showing here because the database connection is successfully happened from your application to database. That's why the latest changes you are able to see here. This is just a one page website, but in normally you can see like this. So whatever that you have database entries, you will see on like this, Flipkart or something website. So whatever the storing in the backend, you will see like this. As we don't have any fully website now, but just I am just showing the simple website here. So how the applications will connect to the database servers and whatever the things available in the database, we can show here on the website. So that code you can see here. It's up to you. If you have more skills on the coding side, you can just customize this page and you can show here. It's depend on your skill. I'm just taking this as ChatGPT help to get this one site, one page website basically on the PHP base. If you can have any website sample website, you can just add the database credential in that code and you can just try to deploy on this web server. So you will see more graphical option here like images, drop down button like that. Any concerns in this, how we deploy and build this project or connectivity part? If you add more records like this, let's say example user and SRE engineer. So number of records you can add from the database side. See, if you have any issues in the query, you will see like this query issues. Let me refresh this or just change the name. DevOps and here engineer. Okay, and just execute this query. It's working properly. If I refresh this page, see. So like this, you will create more. This is job of the database administrator, but I am just showing here. This is the message from the database connection happening or not. If I remove those entry which I added, or let's say security group rules, right? This, if I remove that inbound rules, let's see what will happen. So basically I'm trying to cut the connectivity between database and app. Inbound rules, click on that and just remove the database rules. Okay, and just save it. So I don't have any inbound rules now. So what will happen? I just refresh it. It's round and round, right? Because there is no connectivity or tunnel happening between applications and database servers. So if I add back that connectivity, it will work again. Inbound rules, edit, open that MySQL port number for the EC2 instance. So this time what will can you use instead of private IP address, you can use security group ID as well. Okay, this is the security group ID and just mention in the inbound rule here. Okay, and just save it. Let's refresh. See, it's working now. So either you can use IP address or you can use security group as well. Anyone has any doubts in between? Any part or something?
No.
Just avoid that part which we modify for the giving the internet access temporary to subnet level. Okay, because I want to show you from my local machine here to connect their database. But in real-time cases, some company might have a dedicated connectivity between AWS premises data center to office premises. So for that, they might use a transit gateway or a direct connect service. If you heard about that, direct connect service, direct connect AWS. This is the dedicated service which some company use to configure the network connectivity between AWS and their office premises. So in that case, you don't need to open that internet connectivity in the subnet level for the private. So you can directly have access and you can just connect the database servers. Some company might use the different topology like jump server or bastion server. So where you will have the separate dedicated server on the public subnet where you need to first either RDP or SSH, and from there you can connect your private services like private database or any other services. From there you can just manage your database service. But as I know, we on the local machine we don't have that kind of setup. So that is the reason only I just open that internet access for that private route tables. That is only the reason. But in real time cases, you should not open that internet connectivity for that private route table. Uh, Anything pending? Let me check. Yeah, no pending things. So that is what about today, this project. So I will share this entire documents with you. You can just have a practice. Also, I will share this PHP file. Okay. So you can just try to do the practice, and if anyone get any issues in between configurations, because it's required your Linux basic skill as well, to install this package and this configuration. So I have given all the steps. You don't need to worry and troubleshoot each everywhere. I have given the all working code here in the steps, so you can follow that. And in between, if you get any issues, just let me know on the group, so I will just suggest where you are missing or something. It's not a complex project, it's very simple. You can try to build, and in between if you get any issues, just let me know, so I will guide through.
Okay, sir.
So any questions from anyone before wrap up for today's?
Instead of PHP, can we use any other language as well, like Python or anything?
So, see,
If
this is just one sample website I just shown. If you, as I said, if you have a expertise on the programming side like HTML pages or any other programming language, Java or something, you can definitely try to build that project as well. No issues. If you have a Node.js or Java skill, you can use that code as well to check the database connectivity. I just use this front end website PHP. Either you can use HTML or something like that. So I will share this recording after this download and upload in that folder.